everybody, and welcome to the 5th episode of the TennisONE podcast. Here in the TennisONE app, a lot to cover. The Australian Open are into the quarterfinals. We are going to talk everything that's happened this past week for AO. And of course, we also have a little kind of fun game, you could call it, where we're going to draw topics and kind of go into them in a little bit more detail. And obviously Patrick's been covering on Aussie time, so he's been awake for all of these matches, so he's definitely going to give us kind of his expertise and insight into these matches. Patrick, how are you feeling? How's the sleep schedule?
I'm good. I told you earlier that I set my alarm for 2:30 p.m. Woke up, fell back asleep on accident for an hour. So thank you for waiting for me to get my act together here.
It's all good. It's a different schedule for sure.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's first Grand Slam of the year, and yeah, I don't know. It's kind of peaceful at night, no one else is awake. You just can focus on watching the tennis and all that.
Watching tennis, no complaints there.
No. And there's been a lot of things, a lot of exciting storylines. And so that's why we're going to do this Fishbowl game. Madison has written down some of the top storylines of this year's Australian Open and written them on little pieces of paper, thrown them in a fishbowl. We're going to just randomly draw them out and talk about them that way. So neither of us really know which topic's coming first. So kind of exciting way to do it. But yeah,
definitely. I don't actually have a real fishbowl, so I'm just using a cereal bowl from Target.
Oh, that's okay. We don't have to let the viewers know.
That's okay. No, they don't. Okay, so I will go ahead and draw the first topic. Okay, this is a good one. Andy, never say die, Murray.
Never say die, Murray. Andy, man, he was definitely I would say that in terms of a single player, the top storyline of the first week. The guy won 2 5-setters, and for me, it's special because I've had the hip surgery that Murray has had on both sides, and he has a metal hip, so it kind of went beyond what I had, I think. But to see somebody out there running balls down like he is, there was a point against, was it against Berrettini or Kokkinakis? No, it was against Kokkinakis for sure. The point where he had like 5 overheads and Murray's just side to side running them down, and oh my God. So fun to watch, and just so fun to see Andy. Like, obviously, he had some good wins last year. He wasn't consistent. A lot of them came earlier in the tournament because, I think once he got to the later rounds, he couldn't really physically keep up. But, not that these weren't early rounds as well, but to win in 5 against these guys multiple nights in a row, or multiple matches in a row, I should say. Super exciting. How much of Murray did you watch?
Yeah, so obviously the 5-hour and 45-minute match against Kokkinakis was still going on when I woke up at 7. So I just watched the rest of that, and it still went on for a long time. So that was quite the display honestly, for both of them. That was like the most incredible match. He's just kind of like a warrior. I don't know. And then I thought it was funny too, how he, like, his facial expressions, obviously on court, he always looks really mad. But he was like, that's when I'm having the most fun.
That's when I'm happiest on the inside. When he's screaming at his box, which that makes sense because he's done that a lot. So
and that's what makes Andy Murray. Like, I think, and it's unfortunate that he got out because he brings obviously a huge draw even in Australia. Like, I just feel like no matter where that guy is, people they will do anything to see him.
Yeah, I mean, you got to want to watch somebody that just fights like that, and it is smart enough to be able to stay in the match even if he's maybe a little outgunned or whatever the reason is. I mean, like you said, he's a chirper. He's always got something to say to his box, and I wonder if that's why Lendl has been his coach 3 different times. Like they've had 3 different stints instead of just one consistent stint. So I always wonder, like, is Lendl, I'm getting too old for that. I don't need to take this,
I'm sure he's not easy to work with at all times. So
yeah, on the court at least. I mean, off the court, he's such a good guy, and I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with his his takes, his answers to a lot of questions. He's always the guy that gets asked about the cultural issues, and he kind of always nails it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think as he's gotten older, that side of him has really grown and like probably made him more popular, because I remember when he was like doing really well, when he like won Wimbledon and all this stuff, like he wasn't the most popular player at that time. I mean, unless you were like from, England or something like
Right.
or Scotland. He wasn't like the most popular, I think, again, just because he kind of yells at his box a lot and kind of came off bratty sometimes. But no, as these players get older and they're still able to do this, especially as physical as he's doing it, like you can't not root for a guy like that. So
Realistically, how many more, Australian Opens and some of these slams do you think Andy Murray has left in him? I know that's a hard question.
Yeah, I mean, I for sure at least one more. I think that was an amazing run. I guess it just totally depends on this year.
Right.
I saw a quote from him like, he doesn't know what he's going to do after tennis. What's he going to fill his time with? Obviously, he has a family, but like that's just, it's got to be very hard. We're seeing it with Tom Brady, who just like, I mean, that's a whole different level where he kind of just like gave up his family for football, which is not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it, but I don't know. It just shows you how hard it is for these guys who have been like at the top of a sport to walk away. And so, yeah, as long as he does well this year, he'll be back next year, I would have to say. But it's a long season and a lot can happen, and he's not the youngest player out there. So,
right. Yeah. And hopefully no more serious injuries for him, because I feel like that would definitely make or break it, kind of. I'm sure that's hard.
Yeah, especially, I mean, he was like most known for just like running. I mean, honestly, what we saw this week where he's like running everything down. He was so fast. Like that was one of his biggest weapons, really. And having the hip surgery, like the first couple of years after that, he just didn't have it, and I can tell you it's not easy getting back to that lateral movement, and
no,
and physically and mentally. Sometimes you like, I don't know, you just kind of trick yourself into thinking you can't do some of these things, but he's moving the best he has since that surgery. So yeah, we'll see what he's got.
Yeah, he's a fun one to watch. So that was a good way to start it off with good old Andy Murray.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Can't go wrong.
We'll go to the next topic. Let's see. Okay, this is another good one. Top women fallout. The top seeds being out on this WTA side.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of them. A lot of the top seeds lost. I think at this point there's only 2 top teners left, and that's Pegula and Sabalenka.
Yep.
And I think those are, sort of the favorites at this point. Maybe not just because of their ranking, but they're also just playing really great. Yeah, I mean, I think the most shocking one was Swiatek.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, she's been so dominant in the last, whatever, not quite a year, but basically since I guess Indian Wells, maybe Indian right before she won a tournament as well. So that whole string, and then obviously she won the French and the US Open, and so we're not used to seeing her go out in a slam, especially as early as she did. But I don't know, sometimes you just, she said that she kind of didn't have much left to give.
Yeah, she was struggling a little bit mentally, it seemed like, and she talked about that in her press conference. So
yeah,
it's tough, I'm sure. I mean, like, I couldn't imagine the pressure too. Obviously she was the favorite, so.
Yeah, and she said that earlier, even that like it's tough when you're just expected to win these matches. Like if you basically have nothing to gain, because you either win and that's what you were supposed to do, or you lose and it's like, oh my god, upset. Like, is Swiatek done? Da da. What's like, just all of a sudden people. I don't think anybody said she's done, but you get the point. Like it's it's not easy. So yeah. And she had that whole article that she wrote in the Players Tribune that came out right before this, talking about how it's been hard mentally for kind of those reasons. And like the better you are, the bigger you get, like the less fun it can be, because you just have more obligations in terms of marketing and interviews and all this stuff that's not tennis. And So yeah, it's got to be tough, and especially we got to remember she's still very young. So
She is really young.
yeah, so I think that gets lost a lot, especially I think maybe sometimes on the women's side because young players break through like so much earlier. Like I mean, Coco Gauff was like 15, and
Yeah,
Fruhvirtova, who made, I think she just lost last night
she
in the
did.
round
Yep.
of 16. She's 17. So yeah, it's not easy, but I think Swiatek will be back. I think we have
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you can't
no
count her
worries.
out for the year. That's definitely
Yeah.
very true.
This
Yeah, it
actually
was
might make her more dangerous losing like this. Now she's going to feel more motivated and have something to prove again.
yeah, like, and it's tough in the moment, but I'm sure, like you just said, it might be for the best in this circumstance, kind of take a little bit of pressure off of her,
Mm-hmm.
give her the opportunity to, like you said, prove herself and kind of climb back up. Yeah, and like you said, the top two are probably Sabalenka and Pegula. Neither have dropped a set so far, which is
Yeah.
absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
So they're really fun to watch. But yeah, like Ons was out early. Caroline Garcia just lost, Coco's out,
Yeah.
except she's still in doubles, which is great
She
too.
did
But
doubles.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I think so Pegula and Sabalenka would meet in the finals, I believe,
yep.
because Pegula's on the top half, Sabalenka's on the bottom.
That would be a great
Sabalenka,
final.
yeah, Sabalenka has, I think, a winning head to head. I think it was like 4-1 or something. And
Okay.
Pegula, the last time she won was quite a while ago. So yeah, but I don't know. Pegula's playing so solid, and Sabalenka, while she has been playing dominant, there's always that worry that going into a certain match, especially if there's big expectations, she plays so aggressively that sometimes if the balls aren't landing in, that could be
Could be her
tough.
demise. Yeah,
And I think
for sure.
Pegula could maybe battle and like if neither were playing well, I think that Pegula can maintain I don't know. I think she kind of has the advantage there, but if
Hmm.
Sabalenka's on, I mean, and
Yeah,
she's
she's
serving much
fiery.
better. She's fiery for sure. She's
Yeah,
great actually. So I
she's
really,
really fun to watch. That would be a really, really great final, honestly.
yeah,
I would love to see that. So
yeah, I agree. Kind of hope that's final because I like both those players as people as
me
well.
too.
Jess is the
Yeah.
chillest. Have you met Jess?
Oh, she's so calm. I've never met her, but you have several times,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, she's just super chill. She's like the most normal person of all time. It's just like if any one
So
of your
down to
friends
earth.
became a pro tennis player and just was like
Yeah.
drinking beers at the press conferences and like just
She's
ultra
so calm
chill.
on court too. It just translates like she's just calm in all aspects of her life, it seems like. And it's done her well because number 3 in the world,
Yeah,
probably has a good shot at making this final, a
yeah,
shot at winning her first Grand Slam title. Pretty
yeah,
exciting for her.
definitely. We may have stepped. I think at the end we're gonna make some picks
Yeah.
on who
We
we
kind of
think
we
we may have stepped on it. Maybe we'll have to pick somebody different at the end just to But yeah, it's I don't know. Pliskova summed it up when she won yesterday. Somebody asked her if she was surprised if these top seeds are losing, and she was like, "No, like there's not just 20 tough players. There's like 150 tough players, and if you're not on your game like every single day, you could lose to anybody." So I think
Yeah,
that
at any given moment. That's
yeah,
for sure. Well,
yeah.
like we said, we touched a little bit more on probably WTA than we wanted to, but that's okay. We'll get back into it later. So we'll go ahead and go to the next Fishbowl topic. Okay, late matches, yay or nay?
Yeah, so that's a big topic kind of outside the court that has been going on down in Australia. Like you had so many matches. Obviously the Murray Kokonakis match, the main culprit, I think, went to almost 5 a.m. Melbourne time, which
Yeah.
was super late here. That was like 10 or 10:15 or whatever here.
Yeah, the next day, or it was like a day earlier, right?
Yeah. So that's become a big topic. There's been a few matches that have gone really late, and Murray was saying like if my son or daughter was a ball kid and they're coming home at 5 a.m., that's not okay. It's not good for the tournament staff. It's not it's basically not good for anyone, fans included. Which I think some fans would say they like it, and some fans don't. I mean, what has your impression been so far of these late matches, especially as someone that watched other sports a lot more than you did tennis growing up?
Yeah. Well, just based on what I've seen, I feel like Australia is kind of built for that environment. Like, I don't know if anyone's going to stay up that late. It's going to be Australians. I just feel like,
Mm.
and they're like more laid back. I don't know. It just seemed like they still have a good crowd. I understand from the player perspective and the tournament staff perspective that it's really hard. And
Mhm.
I think there's a fine line. Like, I think it could go, a little, like there could be a cutoff. I
Yeah.
think that part of the fun of slams is that you get those late night matches. You were at the US Open
Mhm.
Cup. Was it the Alcaraz one that went to like 3 a.m. or something crazy too? So
Yeah. I mean, that is what a lot of people, especially in New York, people say all the time. Oh, the night matches. Like every time you ask players in New York, a lot of times they say that their favorite thing is playing those night matches. And now
yeah,
they might just mean when they start on time and not going super late, but like it is really fun as a fan for sure in New York when like the matches are still going at like 3 a.m. and you're in a fifth set. Like as somebody that maybe grew up with tennis, I really like that. I can see how,
yeah,
um, maybe some new fans or I don't know, people think that some people say we shouldn't even play 5 set matches, that if you just had everybody play 2 out of 3, you wouldn't have to try to have one less night match on the schedule, or, you wouldn't have to worry about like pausing the match and picking it up the next day, which is another suggestion I've seen.
right.
So I don't know, that to me, that kind of is what it comes down to, is like, do we want to keep playing 3 out of 5 set matches? And like, I guess as a purist, I want to see it because it's kind of like, I mean, it's kind of like in hockey in a 2 out of 3 game series versus a best of 7. The
Yeah,
better team is probably going to win, right?
for
So,
sure.
so 2 out of 3, really anything can happen. But I think, especially at the slams, and that's why we've seen the big 3 win so many matches, like
They
because it
know
is
how
best
to,
of 5. Yeah.
yeah, like you said, the best player comes out on top eventually. But
Yeah.
you've been to the Australian Open. Did you go to any matches that went like maybe not as late as they have this round, but
Yeah, I mean, I was working when I went, and I was working in the media room, like literally just refilling coffee machines and printing out draw sheets for journalists and stuff like that. And there was definitely not a match that went as late as the Murray Kokonakis match. There were some that went pretty late, maybe like 2 a.m. or so.
mhm.
But I don't know. For me, I was just happy to be there, and I was like, I'm all for it. I'm all for this atmosphere. You know, people are working a lot of hours during these tournaments, journalists, volunteers, staff, like everybody that's involved with the tournament. And when there's still a singles match going on, people basically have to still be working. And yeah, so it's tough, especially for an event that is now sort of like 3 weeks long. It can just, yeah, a lot of hours for all involved. So yeah, I
Certainly, yeah,
kind of see both ways, but I don't
I do
know.
too.
It does just automatically create a storyline though when a match goes that late or is that long in length. So I don't know. I kind of like it, but again, I'm not the player, and I don't have to recover and play like
Right.
another match, and so that's not always easy. But
Yeah.
Alcaraz did it at the U.S.
Yeah.
Open, so.
And look at what happened to him. He
Well,
won. So
granted, he was like 19 and not, mid 30s like Andy Murray. So,
true, true.
yeah.
A little different, but still, I
Mhm.
think I don't know. I think there's a certain aspect of fun to it. So I agree with you there. Kind of, I see it both ways for sure.
Mhm.
From all cylinders.
Yeah.
Okay. We will go on to the next topic. Okay. Ben Shelton, well
Ah,
deserving of his own subject.
why don't you just start with a little Ben Shelton talk? I mean, you were at the NCAA's that he won last year. So what
Yeah.
was that like?
Yeah. So, just him as a person, one of the most down to earth and respectful players that we had the pleasure of talking with at the NCAA's. And he's just he's like kind of reminds me of Coco Gauff,
Mhm.
just because he's so well spoken and so mature beyond his years. And I
Yeah.
just feel like it translates really well onto the court too. And I think that stems obviously from his dad, Brian Shelton. I think he
Yes.
did an incredible job, not only coaching Ben, but raising him into the man that he is and the player that he's become. So, yeah,
Mhm.
it's really, really exciting for him just to see what he's been able to do, winning the NCAA singles in May of 2022, and then now turning around and becoming a top 100 player in just a matter of months is incredible. He's into a quarterfinal at the Australian Open. I mean, you can't write that better.
No. I mean, like you said, his parents did an unreal job with him, like 15 out of 10, because we both got to talk to him last year at NCAAs, or I was at Atlanta Open when he had his first pro win. And yeah, he's just like, he's well-spoken, but he's just a very nice guy. He's very smiley all the time. And, maybe that's just like, he's young and he's like, oh my God, I'm like playing pro tennis now. This is so cool. But he's totally legit. I mean, I watched him beat Casper Ruud at Cincinnati, like in straights. It was like 3-3. So he's, I don't know how much of it is like, oh, people just don't have film on him, or, I'm sure that maybe contributes a little, but like the guy can serve in the 140s, hits huge, really good mover, super charismatic. I mean, I think that served him really well in this tournament playing on John Cain Arena, because like when he beat Popyrin, who just beat Taylor Fritz, the match before, who's the top ranked American, he beat him in 5 sets, and then Shelton beats Popyrin in 3 on John Cain Arena, where again, the whole crowd was, they're Aussie, they're rooting for Popyrin, and Shelton handled it like insanely well. I think just another, testament to his I guess upbringing or whatever, but maybe the college tennis environment too. Like those environments are rowdy, so he kind of knows how to overcome that, I think. And he won him over sort of by the end, and then last night playing against JJ Wolf, I mean, I think the crowd was definitely a little more in his favor. But yeah, he's been amazing to watch. I think it's the first time an NCAA champion has made the quarters of a slam the next year. And that was like Arthur Ashe in the 60s. So pretty cool storyline. And people have been saying it for a while now, but for a long time, it was like, if you played college tennis, you weren't going to be good enough to make it on the tour, Steve Johnson, I guess he was the best college tennis player ever. And,
so good.
And he sort of had a ceiling on now he had a great pro career. Like, I'm not saying he didn't have, a lot of good results, but, he didn't win any slams or, get into the top 10 or anything like that.
Right.
So yeah, to honestly see both those college guys last night in the 4th round,
that was so fun. Him and JJ. Yeah, that was great. And even just to see, Mackie do so well in the Australian Open, probably not as far as he wanted to go with how well he played, but I mean, big upset for him beating
huge
Rafa.
Upset.
So
I mean, unfortunately, kind of had like an ab injury, it looked like, in his next match. So couldn't compete full out, but yeah, college tennis doing well. And I think Shelton's happy to carry that flag. He talks about it a lot in the interviews, and he's just so exciting to watch. So yeah, he's got Tommy Paul next. I mean, glad it's going to be an American in the semis either way, but man, Ben Shelton is fun to watch and fun to root for.
He's really, he's hard not to root for. And then I don't know if you want to touch a little bit on the comparison that people were making on Twitter with him and Roddick, Shelton and Roddick.
Yeah, I saw. So what was the stat? It was like the first time that an American has, I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
We got to get this one right. This is,
we can't misspeak on this.
This is live research, people, for anyone listening. Here we go. Ben Shelton is the first American man in 20 years to reach a major quarterfinal before turning 21. Andy Roddick in 2003 at Wimbledon was the last time that happened. Yeah, I mean, Andy Roddick was absolutely my favorite player growing up. He was because he was flashy. He was very fun to watch, fiery personality. Like, that, I don't know. I don't want to speak for the whole country, but I think that's what Americans want. We want like some personality. We want flashy strokes, like just a lot of high energy. And that's totally Ben Shelton. Mike Cation, who used to call matches at Illinois and is calling matches for the Australian Open. Shout out to him.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He was doing the ESPN Plus stream of Shelton and Wolf last night. So not the ESPN2, but if you just wanted to watch Shelton and Wolf, he was calling it. And he said like he's spunky and he's got a game that is going to, bring fans. And I think that's 100% right. Like people watch his
We'll
tennis
watch
matches,
him.
and yeah, super exciting.
Yeah.
So he's got that going for him, like Roddick, and yeah, he is young, but man, he's got so much potential. And like he played quarterback growing up in football. Like he didn't even really play. He didn't commit to playing tennis until he was like 13 or something like that. So, you know, you always kind of wonder about burnout with younger players, but I don't see that with him. He looks like he's having a great time. So
Yeah. Keep the smiles. That's what we like to see. We want smiles.
oh yeah.
Have fun. And
Yeah.
he's pretty much the poster player for that. So yeah,
Yeah. If he
he's
could
been
win,
really
that would
fun.
be wow.
I couldn't even imagine what that would do for.
That would be that'd be, I won't say it, but that would be effing huge.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. That would be the storyline of the entire year forever.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll get back to Ben later because we'll talk more about. Okay, here we are. Netflix curse.
The Netflix curse. As
The
someone that you watch the show, do you believe in the
Yes.
curse or what?
Well, unfortunately, I think I do because really, let's see, like 3 of the players pulled out with injury.
Yep.
2 were out with round 2. Mateo out in round 1. FAA Felix was the only one
Yeah.
who made it the
He made it furthest.
Yeah, and now he's out after the round of 16, and then the women's side on's out round 2, Sakari out in round 3, Isla never played, and Badosa out with an injury. So yeah, and I think it is. I'm sure that they don't probably like that type of press surrounding Breakpoint, but I mean, there's no players that were featured in the first 5 episodes that are left. So
yeah, I mean, so yeah, you said that 3 people were injured, so that leads me to believe there's a curse. And then 3 players were, I believe, 4 players were like straight up upset. I mean, Ajay Aliassime losing to Lehechka. Lehechka's on fire. He is. He's having the run of his life. So that's kind of just bad luck, I guess, that you run into a player like that. Rude lost to Jensen Brooksby, who has just such a unique game. Like he really does. That guy could beat anybody on any given day for the most part. Maybe not Djokovic, but like he could beat almost anybody. And Rude, again, just has to be playing. He has to be playing solid every time. I think
he's got to be on, or he's not gonna. Yeah,
I always think out of the top 5 players, he's the one that is most prone to upsets because I think he just doesn't have like a huge weapon. So yeah, if he's not on, it's tough. Sakari lost a 3-setter. Jabeur lost. Yeah, I just think. I guess I would. I don't know. Tennis is tennis. Anybody can win. So I'm not fully buying into the curse, but like there was, if you looked at the lineup of players before the tournament, and you wouldn't have said any of them were going to win. So, I don't know. I think it's fun for social media. Fun topic to talk about. But yeah,
bring a little drama.
Yeah, the injuries, that to me was the. That was the thing, because that happened in football a lot. They always talk about the Madden curse. Do they have anything like that in hockey?
I mean, not really, but it does seem like a common theme in hockey is when I mean, I saw this with the Avs recently. They had like 4 players who were out with injury. And you see that a lot where it's kind of, I mean, same with football. So, but it seems like it's kind of like a domino effect in the NHL. One player gets injured on a team, and then they're all of a sudden it's just like,
oh yeah, that's no fun.
Definitely not. But tennis, obviously, you're out there by yourself. So if you're injured, you're done.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, that's kind of the tough thing. So, which is why some people are saying like you can't just have one night match, which is what some people are suggesting to like shorten it, because they're like, oh, if somebody gets hurt during the match or pulls out, like all those people that paid for a night session ticket and they only got one match,
right?
So yeah, that's it. There's no subs coming in. So that's the thing about tennis. If you're
that's true.
And everybody is playing with injuries for the most part. I mean, I don't think any single player left in the draw would tell you like I am just like 100%.
100%.
I don't have any blisters. I don't have like any nagging things. Like every single person has something, and so it's just kind of like, can you get through it?
yeah.
But yeah, no, Netflix curse. Jury's
Netflix
out.
curse.
Jury's out. We'll see. Now, if they do a second season and those players, well, I guess we'll see with the second half of the season when that comes out in June. If those players do poorly at Wimbledon right after,
or pull out,
yeah, then maybe we can confirm. But one tournament, can't say.
You can't say. That's true. That's very true. Okay, last topic from the Fishbowl, the American tennis surge. We touched on it a little bit with Ben Shelton, but there are obviously some other players. Sebi Korda, Tommy Paul, Jess Pegula. Coco is still in it with doubles.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, obviously all the talks on the men's side because our women have been great for a long time. Like there was never really any drop off in terms
any question Serena, about American women.
Serena was carrying the flag, and then we had some of the younger, like that final in the U.S. Open 2017, I think it was, with Madison Keys and Sloane Stephens. Sloane won. Like there hasn't really been a huge stretch of time where an American woman hasn't won a major. So the men always get talked about. It's kind of like beating a dead horse, basically since Roddick, no U.S. man has won a Grand Slam. So now to have 3 in the quarterfinals is super exciting. We talked about Shelton. Korda has the best shot of any of them.
I was just going to say, he could go all the way.
Yeah. I mean, he just made the finals of Adelaide right before this, lost to Djokovic, but had a match point. So he's there. I've been watching all his matches. To me, it kind of feels like he's in control of the matches. The only thing that goes wrong for him is when it's time to close, when it's time to close out a set or especially close out the match, he definitely still gets a little tight. And he's had sort of history with that. He lost to Nadal once when he was serving for it, and that was tough. And then obviously he lost to Djokovic, like I just said, had match point, lost. So it's tough when you have results like that. You kind of question yourself like, oh, can I close out these big matches? Because in the past it's been hard for him, but now he's been able to do it, beating Medvedev. And let's see, who do you beat in the round of 16? I'm totally blanking right now for some reason. So many matches, so little
Let's
sleep.
pull up the handy dandy TennisONE app real quick.
Yeah, he let's see, draws. I love these pinches. It's so nice when you can just pinch and make it smaller. Okay, so of course, yeah, he beat Hurkacz.
Oh yeah,
and that was 5 sets. That was actually closer than the Medvedev match, and not really. Honestly, neither player was really playing great, but and yeah, I thought actually Hurkacz was going to sneak it out at the end there because he had some chances, but
was it? And that was the match tiebreak.
Yeah. Right? It went to a 5th set match tiebreak. I believe it was. The score was 10-7 in the tiebreaker. And I think Korda has the best shot. I think these wins have given him more confidence. So yeah, we'll see what he can do. He's in the top half. So luckily for him, he's not gonna have to play Djokovic until the final.
Yeah.
He's playing Khachanov, Karen Khachanov, some people say. So definitely a winnable match.
For sure.
But we'll see what happens.
And then we got Tommy Paul playing Shelton. I really think that one could go either way, to be honest. Yeah. I think it's going to be a really fun one. They're both kind of fun.
Has more experience, obviously.
Yeah.
And is fully in on being a pro tennis player. Mm-hmm. Definitely at the beginning of his career, when he was younger, he had a lot of potential, but he just was honestly, he's kind of a party boy. He
definitely was.
Yeah. He wasn't really taking it totally seriously. He's kind of just enjoying the ride, I think, at the beginning. But that he saw what that can do when he had big matches and wasn't able to close some of them out. He did once in a while have some big wins, but he definitely had some where he should have won. And, maybe a little extra work would have pushed him over the line. So he's working very hard now. I think all these Americans having great results is kind of motivating the rest of them to, why couldn't I do that if this person that I train with all the time, is able to do that. And last year he made the 4th round of Wimbledon. Tommy Paul did. So he's starting to have consistent results. And going up against Shelton, it's I don't know. I would maybe pick Tommy just out of experience, but
Yeah.
at the same
And
time, mentally, it's hard when you play somebody like that, where it's like, oh, this is only their second major, and like I should win because I have so much more experience. But like, if Shelton's on fire, like, what do you do? So
yeah, you can't really stop him. That's very true. So that'll be a really fun one. And then I love Jess and Coco. I love
mm,
watching them play doubles, and I would love to see them take home the win and take home
yeah,
the title. As a
yeah,
they're just like a fun and I think they do a really good job of getting the crowd involved too. I think the crowd really loves them.
they definitely do.
What's not to like about either player? I mean,
Yeah,
you
they're
can't
definitely
really.
fan favorites.
Yeah, for sure.
They're just having so much fun out there. Like I saw a comment from a commentator the other day. He was talking about on the men's side, but you can talk about this either side, really. Players that play doubles aren't going to win majors. Like if you're serious about winning a singles major, you can't play doubles. And I want so bad for Jess Pegula to win, just
to spite him.
yeah, like you can. Is it
You
common?
can
No,
no,
but
but it's possible for sure.
yeah, she
I
said
would
she
love
has
to see her win both. Win
that would
single.
be
That would
wow.
be like crazy, but
Yeah,
it would be
she's
and she was funny in her on-court interview. She just talked about how she would rather play doubles than just like practice. She's like,
mm,
I would so much rather be busy every day and play with Coco and like actually be in real match points and like real match experience versus just practicing. I was like,
yeah.
I kind of like that. Maybe that's why she's so calm on the court. She's just always playing. Like,
It's just like AI, just talk about practice here. Like I don't need to practice. No, she works hard. So she definitely, no shortage of practice for Pagula. But yeah,
for
I
sure.
think that it is way more fun to play matches, especially when you're playing doubles with Coco. Like there's a crowd, it's fun. I'm sure that's much more exciting than just going out to the court and having David Witt run you around, which, that
She
guy's a
does
great
too,
coach.
for
So she
sure.
does that too.
But
So yeah, it would be fun it would be really fun to see if she could pull it out. So, I mean, she's the favorite at this point. She's the number 3 seed, the highest remaining seed left. And
yeah,
she basically hasn't lost this year. She had one loss in United Cup, but technically it was in December because the United Cup started at the end of December. So 2023, she's undefeated. I think she's 8-0, hasn't lost a
and
set.
hasn't. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
And I think Sabalenka is the same, or is it just she hasn't dropped a set through the? I think she hasn't dropped a set all year either.
She hasn't lost a set for sure during the Australian Open.
Yeah,
Now, has she dropped a set
maybe
before
she
that?
had.
We can check that out very easily. There's I don't know for our listeners if there's actually an app. It's called TennisONE, and you can go to it. You can search for a player. You can see their past results. And I'm seeing she has not lost this year, Sabalenka. She won Adelaide 1. And so she won 4 matches there. And then, 1, 2, 3, 4. She's won 4 matches here. So 8-0.
Look at that.
No sets
Pretty good.
lost in any of them. So yeah, those
That's
are the 2
pretty
hottest players
exciting.
for sure right now, Sabalenka.
So I feel like that's kind of a good transition into kind of giving our little insight. I know we've probably covered majority of it, but just quickly going through the remaining players. Obviously, we talked about Sabalenka and Pegula making it to the women's final. That's that's our predictions. But
Yeah.
who else could you see kind of pushing their way through?
So looking at the women's quarterfinals, we'll just, for those that don't know, you have 2022 Wimbledon champ Elena Rybakina versus 17 Roland Garros champ Elena Ostapenko. That is the first quarterfinal. So 2 former slam winners there. I mean, they could do it. I know Rybakina, kind of feels shafted, and she won Wimbledon, got no points, kind of lost out on a lot of the marketing that comes with that, of winning Wimbledon. So she's probably very hungry. She's the one that beat Swiatek, right? So that was a tough. Was that in the 4th round or 3rd round?
4th round.
4th round. Okay. So yeah. Hey, out of those 2, I would
pick
tough.
Elena.
Yeah, I would probably pick her too, but Ostapenko, man, she just you can't ever count her out. So
I know.
Yeah, that's the top half quarterfinal number 1, and then Pegula Azarenka, which another former major winner. Azarenka's won the Australian Open twice. So she likes it here. She lost to Jess the last time they played in the Australian Open, I think 2021 first round. So yeah, I mean, I like Pegula there, but I don't know. It's hard being the top dog. So when you have all the expectations all of a sudden, and this is kind of the first time that she's really dealt with that at a major. Normally she's not the top seed remaining. So we'll see how she can, see how she can handle it. Pliskova, Lynette, Pliskova. I mean, she's just had steady results throughout her whole career, made a ton of major quarterfinals. She's been the number one ranked player in the world before, and she didn't win a major. So that just shows you like
her results matter, and she just gets consistent, super consistent. So
exactly.
I think I picked her first. I picked her.
Yeah. And
in that one.
Yeah. Over Lynette, who, if you would have told me there's a Polish player in the women's quarterfinals, then it's not Iga Swiatek. Very surprising. So yeah, but I mean, again, a player that's been on the tour for a while, has got a lot of experience. So yeah, interesting to see how that one shakes out. But I'd probably pick Pliskova like you did. And Sabalenka Vekic. This to me is the most interesting of the four matches. Sabalenka actually lost to Vekic in the San Diego Open last October, just like 3 months ago. So she's playing much better than she's playing much better right now. She's serving much better. Sabalenka is, but like Vekic is having great results, and she's got Pam Shriver coaching her, and I think she's feeling good about her tennis. So that's the one to me that could be kind of an upset out of the quarters left. I'll still pick Sabalenka, but yeah, I think that could be an upset out of those four. So yeah, Pegula, Sabalenka, I think that's who we think in the final.
That's who I put down.
All right, who are you picking? Got to go one way or the other.
I think I'm gonna go Jess, just because I just feel like I just want her to do it. I really like Sabalenka a lot too. Like either way, if either player wins, actually, honestly, anyone who's left in the draw, anybody that wins, that's okay with me. But I would really, really like to see Jess do it. And I just feel like, just with how she's been playing, like she just is kind of an underrated player. I mean, I don't know if underrated is the right word, but I just feel like she's not right about that. I don't think she's talked about enough. And I think she's such a strong asset to this WTA tour, and the players really seem to respect her, and she just the way she carries herself, the way she plays, I would love to see her take the title, but we'll see.
That's a good point. The players really do seem to respect her. I had no idea that she and Azarenka were like great friends. And Azarenka said in her press conference the other day, like they practice together, like she loves her, and I think everybody really likes her, and she's become kind of like a leader on the WTA tour, just in terms of like for United Cup. Everybody was kind of like, basically Jess is the captain. She plays with Coco. So obviously she's older. She's going to be kind of even though Coco has been ranked higher probably for longer, not anymore because Jess is ranked higher than her now. But yeah, I guess I really like both players. Sabalenka is really great. If you're ever around her, she's just like she's energetic and fun, and
she's a really nice person too off the court. Like she's not intense off the court. She's super nice.
Yeah, very bubbly. Just so I hope I hope Pegula, Sabalenka in the final. And yeah, I got to root for the American, but I would be very happy if Sabalenka won too. So it's kind of a win-win if that was the final for me.
It really is. And if Jess doesn't win in singles, then her and Coco will take it in doubles. I would love that. Love that for both of them too. So
let's get some
either way
somewhere.
Yeah, either way, Team USA bring it home for us.
Exactly.
Okay, well, we can switch over to the men's side. We talked about some of the matchups already.
So yeah, you have Khachanov Korda in the top quarterfinal spot. Tsitsipas Lehechka. Hope I didn't butcher it, but that's how I've been saying it.
That's how you say it. I looked it up before.
Okay, great. Rublev versus Djokovic, and Shelton versus Paul. So Khachanov versus Korda. I mean, Korda's just he's playing great tennis, and other than just like kind of having a few hiccups when he gets to the finish line. Now that said, he's gotten to the finish line, but it just always hasn't been the easiest. So
right,
I'm picking him in that match, but hey, Hatchinoff's, he's had great results over his career. I mean, he won the silver medal at the Olympics, lost to Zverev, I believe. Just
good US Open run too.
good US Open run. He's had a lot of good runs in majors, so, and he's been around for a little bit longer than Korda has, even though both guys like still relatively young. So yeah, I picked Korda there.
Me too.
Tsitsipas Lehechka. What do you think, Madison? Is he gonna keep the upsets rolling or no?
Yeah, I picked Lehechka because I don't know. I just feel like what does he have to lose? He just kind of is playing nothing. Like, he literally has nothing. He's going to move up in the rankings. Like, I don't know. I just feel like he's kind of who I pick. And I just feel like, I don't know, Tsitsipas is he's just kind of hot or cold. Like, he's either really on or I don't know. So it'll be interesting. I think it could be potentially close, or Tsitsipas could come in and blow it out in 3 sets. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right about that.
It's kind of hard to predict.
It won't be a blowout in Lehechka's favor. So if he were to win, it would be probably very close. And if anybody's blown anybody out, it'll be Tsitsipas. I'd probably pick him in this, even though you're right. Sometimes he could, kind of falter, like, the closer he gets to this slam title. But I don't know. He's had good results in slams, especially this one. He's, beaten Federer and Nadal here. And he's been playing really great this year. A United Cup, he beat Borna Coric, who like mentally was just one of those guys he just couldn't seem to get over the hump against. He's had like matches where he's had like 5 or 6 match points against Coric and lost. And actually, in the one he won in United Cup, he probably had just as many match points, and he did finally win one.
And he finally got it.
And I think did Tsitsipas beat Berrettini at United Cup? He had one other big win. So I think he's playing really, really strong, and mentally he's probably at his best he's ever been. So I'll probably pick Tsitsipas there, but hey, we'll see. We'll see which of us is right. So
that'll be a good one for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Novak and Rublev.
Yeah, well, yesterday after Rublev won, I don't know if you saw, he said in the on-court interview, I'm going to play Novak next. Well, Novak hadn't even started his match against de Minaur. So Rublev, I think, like the rest of the world, and fairly assumed that there's no way de Minaur is going to beat Djokovic, and it was, the scoreline was a little sad. I think it was 6-2, 6-1,
and Alex
6-2
played really well this tournament, so I would have liked it a little bit closer, but it's Novak. I mean, he didn't get to play last year at AO, so he's kind of just probably
very hungry. Very hungry, and he I don't know. He didn't have any issues with the hamstring, I guess, in that match either. So
no,
that's not anything anybody wants to hear. And actually, again, back to that that interview on court with Rublev, he said no one wants to play Novak, which maybe you shouldn't, say just for like keeping up appearances. Like, let's not let your opponent know, like, I don't want to play you, even though it's obvious you don't want to play him. But so not a great quote going into that matchup. So I think everybody's got to pick Djokovic there, but
it is a 4 and 5 seed. It's kind of, because Novak's not seeded as highly as obviously he would have been. But Rublev, he said in a couple of his press conferences that he really thought he was going to lose that match. Like a couple matches, he's like, I thought I was going to. So I think his mental side maybe isn't. I think that could be his demise. I think it has a potential to be close, maybe 4. I just feel like Rublev's he's a really strong player, but Novak, I think, is going to take it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that match against Rune last night, I mean, that could help him a lot because, he basically was down 2-5 in the 5th set. Now he was serving. So 2 of the games he had to win to come back were on his serve, but like down 2-5, came back to 5-all, then it's 6-5, and Rune has 2 match points in that game. And Rublev gets through that, gets the tiebreak, and then he's down love 5 to Rune. So to come back and win that match, I mean, at this point, you're just totally playing with house money. Rublev's never made it past the quarters of a major, I don't believe. So,
which makes me sad that he's matched up with Djokovic, because it would be fun to see him go one step further and get past that block too. But he's a really good player. So
he wants it bad. So I don't know. I think you're right. Maybe 4 sets, but Djokovic probably takes it.
Yeah, I think so too.
And
then Paul and Shelton for the last one.
Who's your pick?
I really honestly, it's a coin toss for me. I just don't know. I feel like Shelton could do it. So I think I'll say him, but I really could see it going either way, just because like we talked about, Tommy Paul has a little bit more experience. He's kind of found his rhythm and his strong suits of his game, and he kind of knows what it takes to win, it seems like now, and has had good major results the last year. So it's a toss-up, but I feel like just the way Shelton's been playing, I don't know, he just kind of seems like he's unstoppable at this point, but we'll see.
Yeah,
it'll be close.
I'm with you. I'm gonna pick Shelton. I actually thought in the match against Wolf, I thought Wolf was maybe gonna pull that one out, just because even though I think maybe Shelton has he has more potential long term, I thought Wolf would maybe pull it out just on experience, kind of having been on the pro tour longer than Shelton has. But I was wrong. Shelton got through that one mentally as well. So like he's really making a strong showing here. So I'm going to pick him over Paul too, even though Tommy has more experience, which is what you would say for him. But I don't know. It's not going to be, sometimes when to reach the biggest result of your life, you have to beat somebody that you should beat. That's not easy. So I'm gonna Shelton train. I'm gonna ride with it. Still going.
Honestly, these men's matches, they really, with exception of maybe the Djokovic Rublev match, could go either way, and even that one could still have the potential to be close. So it will be interesting to see who punches their ticket to the semis, and then who.
Yeah. So who do you have? Who do you have in the final? And who do you have winning?
Yeah, so I picked Djokovic and Korda.
Okay.
And I picked Rematch. Korda. I picked Korda because
wishful thinking.
Played him in Adelaide. I don't know, and I know that's like very ambitious. Just because
but it's fun to pick.
And I think since I picked Jess, to see 2 Americans win would be so cool, and that would, I don't know, it would be crazy. I'm not super duper confident. However, I think that he has the capability. Like we talked about, he had a match point in Adelaide. I mean, he knows Novak's style of play, he knows his game. So I feel like if that ended up being the final, it would be a really good one.
Yeah, I think out of the top half, because I had Korda and Tsitsipas in the semis. Gosh,
I know that's tough.
that's a tough one. I think actually I would maybe pick Korda because I don't know. Sometimes Tsitsipas loses matches like that. So yeah, I would pick maybe Korda in the final versus Djokovic. And yeah, I'd love to pick Korda and be like, oh yeah, I had that, which you'll be able to say if he wins, because picking Djokovic isn't, it's not anything groundbreaking. But I don't know. I think again, Korda's mental game, it's better than it's ever been. But it's maybe still not where it needs to be for him to win a major, especially against one of the big 3.
Right.
So yeah,
he's still so young too. He has plenty of time too.
Yeah. Like the only way I could like if he got a big on Djokovic, like really far ahead or something. And there was like less pressure to close out the situations.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. But so I'll pick Djokovic. I mean, no more hamstring issue, apparently. Guy's hungry. Yeah. He's won this tournament, like, this would be like his 10th time maybe or something.
So yeah. That's a really, that's a safe bet for sure.
But Sebi Korda's dad won the Australian Open. So we got that, there's some history there. So who knows, maybe the tennis gods have something special for us.
Yeah. It would be very cool. Peter and Sebi to both, like they've talked about, a lot of success for the Korda family in Australia. So either way, honestly, both draws, the players that remain, it's anybody's game. It could, just with how it's played out, I'd like to see it. I wonder if anyone has a perfect bracket still. I highly doubt it.
I don't think so. That's this is even harder to pick than March Madness. And
seriously,
we see how hard that is to pick. But when you have 128 players, 64 matches, oof, that's a lot. So we'll see. It's been a fun Australian Open. I'm excited to see how it plays out over the next week. And we'll be talking about it.
I've certainly enjoyed it more this year than last year. for sure. I know last year was different, but yeah, this year has been a little bit more fun.
Yeah, Foley on, and really great storylines. All you can ask for, first major of the year.